Welcome to Parks and Pixie Dust Podcast.
Hey, John!
Hey, Jess!
How are ya?
Good, how are you?
Great. We've got Jonathan for part 2 of our interview with him about his Disney college program experience. So, yeah, let's continue on with what we've got with Jonathan here.
All right, I hope you enjoy.
Sorry, my nose is going like berserko.
Oh, you're okay.
Yeah, you're fine.
It's allergy season, man.
Man, seriously though.
It's bad. Being, not to change the subject, but now that I'm joining onto my husband's insurance, one of my first stops at the doc is going to an ENT.
Yeah.
Because my sinuses my entire life have been like chronic, horrible. Yeah. And people are like, oh, it's just allergies, or I even had an ENT. Oh, it's just drainage. Okay, great. Can you maybe
help it drain?
Yeah, help it, or to stop it, or remove that. Don't just tell me, it's drainage. Okay, right. Thanks. What do I do about it?
Right.
So, no, I feel your pain. Yeah. I understand. But, how were your allergies in Orlando? How was that, being in a costume?
It was, I'm literally dripping. I've got boogers everywhere now.
No, you're fine.
It wasn't, when you're performing, you just get so used to being in a constant state of moisture.
Sure.
That it doesn't matter where it's coming from.
Sure.
The only time you would get into trouble is if something got in your eye, or maybe something was pinching you somewhere and you couldn't finagle your way out of it till you make it better. But there were times where something maybe sweat drips into your eye and you
can't see.
You can't do anything, and you just gotta figure out how to deal with that.
Yeah.
So, and there were people that took advantage of that too. That it seemed like every set they needed a 2-minute break in their 20-minute set because
wow,
something happened and they couldn't see anymore.
Wow.
Or someone touched them inappropriately. There were people that would chronically in the middle of when they were supposed to be on show, find some excuse for taking a 2-minute break.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Did you ever, knock on wood, I hope not, get injured or anything ever happen?
There were times I remember being I don't remember them vividly because it was a long time ago, but
yeah,
I do remember being having teenage boys come up and want to take pictures, but you could just tell they had a bet in their little group of friends who could someone needed to make an inappropriate comment, because as soon as it happened they would giggle and run away or whatever. But
oh my god.
But no, I never really got injured. Don't get me wrong, there were some days you were just sore because
sure,
you're either you had, depending on what shift you had, you could have some serious mobility restrictions.
Okay.
Just based on how everything fit.
Oh,
if you're in a ball gown, you pretty much have full range of motion. You're fine.
Sure.
If you're an 8-foot monster with hands that are 6 feet long, depending on the whatever you're doing,
right?
You could be you could have a sore back or whatever.
Oh,
and injuries did happen, especially for full timers that they needed to that were covered under insurance and workers' comp. It was always a big deal because if you had to be put on limited mobility or something, and you were supposed to be hanging out with Buzz for 10 hours a day for 5 days straight, now that's a hole in their calendar that they've got to find people to fill.
Wow.
So, and there are some of those characters, they're very unique, and if you don't have just the right body composition, it looks bad, and they'll be nope, sorry, not gonna happen.
Wow.
Yeah, not show ready.
So it's not you didn't have you have kids kicking you or anything.
You had a little bit of all of that, but I really don't remember it. If it happened, I don't think there was never one experience where I was oh my god, get me off. There was one time I remember that in Animal Kingdom they used to have those huts where you could meet Mickey, Minnie, Donald, and Goofy in their jungle gear.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember something happening, I think with Mickey or Minnie, and they actually pulled us all off set. And way early, and kept us off set, and they actually ended up clearing the entire area.
Wow.
Because something happened.
Oh, wow.
And they didn't want that person to get back into another line. Because whether or not, the attendant, maybe didn't see the person or whatever actually happened, I don't remember why.
Mm-hmm.
But they, closed out, they shut it down for, 15 minutes while like they sorted everything out.
Wow.
Because it happens, right? Like,
right. Totally.
People get injured.
Yeah.
There's stories like, and whether or not they're actual stories or they're myths, but
Sure.
like, Magic Kingdom, there's that like that moat and there's like bridges over it. And back
Sure.
when like characters used to like roam free around the parks, everyone quote unquote always misses those days, but they never actually stop to consider like what could happen or like what if you get swarmed by 100 people, like what kind of danger that puts like the performers in.
Sure.
Especially like if you get swarmed and you can't get out, like now you're stuck
Right.
trying to like wave and picture yourself out of there.
Yeah.
And like, there are contracts that say like you can only be outside for X amount of time.
Right.
But there are people that there was like one myth like in Epcot, I think in that bridge, like that kind of connects like France and England, the UK.
Okay.
Like someone like falling over.
Oh my God.
And like falling into the water.
Oh my God.
And that's still on stage, so you're not allowed to modify your outfit in any way.
Wow.
Even if that means like you like drowning because the outfit's so heavy.
Jeez. So they always have to have a cast member like with you then.
Yeah, and that's why I would say in like the past 20 years they migrated to like meet and greet locations.
Yeah,
where
that makes sense.
They could control the amount of like direct contact and like the crowds themselves.
Wow.
And like because I grew up going to the parks where you could just see like someone strolling down down the street.
Yeah.
And that just doesn't happen anymore. And I after like having to like work in those roles, I can understand why. It's just a huge danger.
Yeah.
They still let some of the face characters do it more.
Okay.
But like again, like they can self-manage a whole lot easier than a lot of the other characters.
Okay, yeah.
So like between them and their character attendants, they can be like, oh, like I'm late for the ball, I need to go, sorry.
Right.
Like, no, I can't stop for photos. I'm so sorry, dear. Come see me later. But they can self-manage like that. And it's just like, if Goofy's out with just one of his attendants and he gets swarmed by like 100 kids in a Brazilian tour group.
Yeah.
Which happens, chance and all, it's like the first times as a bigger guy, I was okay.
Yeah.
But like you can imagine like people like half my size.
Sure.
That can't see, all they can see is people's like faces. Like they can't see out and like
right.
where they're supposed to be going. It can be traumatizing.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
And they can't self-manage. So then they're just completely relying on another human being to try and like help manage for them. But if none of these people speak English or are purposely just like ignoring him because like Daisy Duck is out right here and I want to talk to Daisy and get a picture with Daisy.
Right.
You can still hear people saying like photo, which is like Brazilian for like picture.
Sure.
Not Brazilian Portuguese. That was stupid. That's Brazilian for a picture.
Oh my God.
But like, and like literally like, grabbing your arm and like, stay, like, no, you can't leave. Different cultures have different like,
yeah,
standards.
Sure. Sure, yeah.
But by and large, that's why like for just general safety purposes. Because the other thing is too, like you learn like like in Epcot, they had like this place where you could go and like meet a couple of characters indoors.
Sure.
And there were different ways of like while you're on set of making sure that you're up against the wall. Because you don't want people like behind you because like you can't see people.
Sure.
And so you don't want to like trip and fall. So there are ways of like, clicking your heel against like the wall to make sure you were still pretty close to it.
Okay.
Especially like places like Main Street where like there's a curb, right?
Right.
So if you don't step correctly, you could like fall over and that's traumatizing and everything.
Sure.
So there were ways of like having like you were kind of trained to like help manage that to make sure that, you were secure in place so that you were safer, essentially.
So the job probably has anxiety.
Some people, yeah. I mean, there are some people that, be like, oh, you're this tiny petite girl that's like 5'3".
Yeah.
You would be a perfect fit to take this shift. And sometimes if it's never a shift you've participated in before, you've never had to try on like that specific outfit.
Sure. And
in training, there was this one girl I have vivid like memories of where she was claustrophobic, but like for the most part was fine until I think one day she was hanging out with Pinocchio. And just the way like his like outfit for the day was constructed, she just had like a full blown panic attack and like was like no. And so she, like, Pinocchio ended up taking, like, a shift off, or, like, a shift, like, dark, which was okay because we were in training. And then eventually, like, he got back out there for, like, steps, like, 2 and 3, I think.
Okay.
But, like, it's a thing. Like, people joke about it, but, you know, if you feel, like, don't feel comfortable, it's a very, like, visceral, physical feeling. Yeah. And you can't do your job if you're like feel like you're in danger, if your body has like this fight flight thing going on.
Yeah. Right. Wow.
Yeah. So even though it's not like you're working in retail, you are trained in ways of like making sure like you have some kind of like security, that you feel safe.
Yeah.
And I know it's been a big, especially like the last 20 years, has been a big important piece for Disney, is making sure that everyone feels like safe and secure.
Yeah.
Because, you know, people will make stupid comments even, like, on parades. Like, oh, why is, like, Aladdin holding on to that pole? It's like, well, because he's on top of a tractor.
Right.
That, you know, if a little kid runs out in front of him, they have to slam on the brakes. Like,
sure, we don't want Aladdin to go flying.
No one wants to see him face plant and, like, be knocked unconscious.
Yeah, there's no magic carpets.
There's no magic carpets.
You
know, no one wants to see Tink gets, like have like a narcoleptic like episode like on her way down from like the castle and have to like, you know, pull herself herself over to get to like off stage.
Yeah. Right.
Because it's essentially like that whole situation is like it's a big zip line.
Yeah.
So if you don't push off correctly and you get stuck halfway through, well, guess what? Now there's thousands of people just staring at you while, you know, you're trying to finagle your way yourself down the zip line. And if anyone's ever gotten stuck on a zip line, getting yourself unstuck from a zip line is a whole nother beast than, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Someone coming to save you from the zip line.
Yeah.
Which there is no saving. It's get yourself down.
Right.
There's saving. You just take a couple shears and...
Yeah.
And hope for the best.
Yeah.
So how long is the training process from when you're hired to before you go on stage?
Yeah, that's a good question. So you go through like a couple of days of training, maybe a day of training where it's like, here's like maps of the parks, here's how you take your ID and clock in, here's like what to expect shift wise, and you go through like the normal Disney training. So anyone that works at Disney goes through like, you know, I forgot the name of it now, but it's like
those classes or something.
Yeah, it's I forgot, but they're all over the internet. It's like it's intro to Disney.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, Mickey swings by and says hello to you and welcomes you to the family, and you know, the first time you have to figure out like what business casual means because you're a college kid.
Yeah.
So you go through like that normal training, and then you go to like your specific role training, and like even that that's when you kind of learn how to clock in, clock out. They show you maps of like where to park, how to park, where to park, how to get into the parks. And then you go into like more specifics. And I want to say like training was maybe like 5 business days.
Okay.
And by the end of it, you're either like ready to go or you're being like reevaluated.
Yeah.
So
they send you out to the wolves.
Yeah, pretty much.
Wow.
It's thrilling and not because like maybe it was 2 weeks, but I want to say it was only 1. I really do.
I would think it'd be more for face characters, right?
So you have to go through normal training.
Sure. Okay.
For whatever the week is, and then there's additional training.
Okay.
So any type of like specialty show, parade, princess roles, there's additional training on top of your core training.
Okay.
And so like, you know, that could be another couple of days, it could be another week. For like, you know, like a Christmas parade or a Halloween parade, you could be looking at a couple of weeks of overnights. Of rehearsals and choreography and blocking, and then full-blown dress rehearsals like at 4 a.m. where like, you know, all the lights are on in Magic Kingdom, and it is a full-blown dress rehearsal of from beginning to end. And, you know, full get-ups, full music, full fireworks, full floats, everything. And your dress rehearsal, and you're the entire time you're getting notes.
Wow.
So like, you know, and that could be depending on how many roles that you're eligible to like partake in. You might actually have a shift during the day and then like have turnaround, which is like less than 8 hours between shifts, into an overnight rehearsal.
Oh my God.
Granted, people like loved those because like the overtime and double time, which is rolling. But like at the same time, from like this is where like your physical fitness came into play.
Okay.
And, you know, as like a younger person that like we just ate whatever we wanted and drank whatever we wanted because we were just burning calories like thousands of calories a day, I'm sure.
Right.
But this is where, like, if you do this for like years and years and years and years,
right,
it could definitely take a toll.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how did the housing work as far as where you stayed and all that?
So once you accept your offer, they basically give you a day to, like, you have to show up and, like, register on site.
Okay.
So you show up and you go, and there's like 3 options. At the time, there was 3 options for housing. I think there's even less now. And they gave you options. It was like, okay, here's the rooms that are available and their cost. So at the time, it was like Vista Way, Patterson Court, and another one I think that started with an M that I can't think of right now.
Okay.
But Vista Way was one of the first properties that they used for the college program after they transitioned from, like, having college program kids like sleeping in trailers. Like, literally had like manufactured homes. Wow. And that was always kind of like a way of like dating yourself, because, like, you might have an entertainment manager that 10 years ago was a college program like kid, or 15 years ago was a college program kid. It's like, oh, well, back in my day, we used to sleep in, like, a trailer park.
Right.
And then by the time I got there, Patterson Court and the other one that starts with an M that I can't think of were nicer or newer and had like less roommates. And Vista Way was like the downtrodden, like, had a reputation for being like the cheaper ones and like just a brothel of sex at all times. That one actually recently just got sold. They don't use it anymore.
Oh, okay.
But literally had, like, if you Google Vista Way, like, the articles that are out there are, one, they're old now, but
takes you to a porn site.
No, but like there are direct like comparisons to like the Playboy Mansion. Like, what are your odds of getting laid at the Playboy Mansion or at Vista Way? Oh, they're higher at Vista Way.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I think we were talking before, like, the hot tub. It was always like a joke in the pool. Like, there was just like a film on top of it. Being like a rational adult, it's probably just pool chemicals. But you can imagine a bunch of, like, sex deprived, like, single people. Like, oh, it's actually a film on the pool because, people are just having nonstop sex in the
oh my god. Oh man.
But if you think about it, like, we were in 3-bedroom apartments with 6 people. Like, we were sharing a bedroom. So it was like, it was almost like worse than college, but like slightly better. Because in our 3-bedroom apartment, there were 6 guys sharing 2 bathrooms and a kitchen space and a living space. And, we all had, like, random schedules. So like, my actual roommate was in the custodian program, and it almost seemed like they intentionally, whenever our shifts changed, they always kept us exact opposite of each other. Mm-hmm. So, like, I would get woken up by him coming in from, like, a 5 o'clock extra magic hour, and I'm supposed to be up in 2 hours to go to a breakfast shift. Mm-hmm. And, it can be hard.
Yeah.
But that was like what the living arrangements were. They provided buses to anywhere we had to work. Thank God my parents came down for like a family vacation and left a car, because depending on where you had to go for that shift, you could very well have to get on a bus 3 hours before your shift, because there might be multiple stops in between.
Right.
And if you, like, on the way home, like, if the bus was full, the bus was full. You had to, like, wait for the next one.
Oh, my God.
And these weren't, like, public buses. They were, like, buses provided by the college program housing. So you couldn't, so you could, like, try to take, like, a Link bus, which is, like, their version of their Orlando's, like, surrounding areas, like, public transportation. Okay. But, like, the whole idea was, like, this was being provided for you as part of, like, your college program.
So was the housing, you just had to pay a certain amount?
Yeah, I think I was paying, like, $300 a month, which on face value was a great deal. It was definitely subsidized.
Sure.
But then when you figure out, like, okay, I'm in a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartment in Central Florida that hasn't been probably, like, renovated since, the 90s.
Right.
And there's 6 of us in here paying $1,800 a month. I mean, at the time, you could probably rent a full 5-bedroom house for, like, what we were paying.
Totally.
With a pool and, like, lawn care and everything included.
Back then.
Yeah. Well, even now, like, what rent, I mean, like, it was always, they were definitely, like, still making money, right? Like, no one was being a college program housing provider and losing money, or just like breaking even.
Sure.
But like,
could you have opted out of staying on their properties or no?
You could only do that, like, under very certain constraints.
Gotcha. Okay.
And one of them had to be, like, you were a local, maybe.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And, like, there was a process there, but it was one of those things that they just, like, never really brought up. So, like, you just never, like, investigated it.
Sure.
There were some people, like, I met one person that had, like, a religious reason.
Oh, okay.
So they stayed off property.
Gotcha.
But like part of the fun of it too was like having those relationships, meeting people,
Totally
living and being able to like, if you were both off, like we used to, if there was a bunch of us that were off, we might go to like Magic Kingdom and just hang out because we all got in for free anyway.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like, you just go hang out and like in Magic Kingdom, like watch a parade, maybe eat dinner.
Nice.
Or like, hey, like someone's gonna like rent a car and we're gonna go to like Cocoa Beach for like the day.
Oh, fun.
So like, we would like do random stuff like that. And like that was part of the thing. Like you were all there and typical college. So people like, oh, like we're gonna like live together and get married. And like 3 weeks later, like, hate each other.
Yeah.
So like it was very much like college, but not.
Right.
Still had to like show up to like and go to your job.
Right.
So.
Totally.
And people like got sent home because they would not show up to their jobs.
Wow.
Yeah. So like,
oh my god.
So you had both types of people there. The people that like were just there for a good time. And the other people are like, no, like this is my into like a S&P 100 company. It's gonna be my career.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leverage this into like getting promoted into like management and then eventually hopefully corporate.
Yeah. Wow.
So it's very interesting seeing like both sets of people.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because like if you were in Vista, because Vista had its reputation, it was like, oh, these people are here just for like a good time.
Right.
And like if you didn't read like the blogs back then to like know these things, you like would show up and you're like, oh crap, like no, like
right.
I'm like I was planning on abiding like by the no alcohol policy,
right.
so I don't get kicked out and like sent home and like blacklisted.
Right.
And then you have that one asshole stupid roommate that like brings a couple beers back and hides them under his mattress, and then like
God.
People come through and find him, and then you're all getting sent home because...
Oh, God.
Which happened to me. One of, like, the doofuses that I used to have in my room, or my apartment, he went to a party off, like, in, like, the local area, and had, like, a bottle of, like, the cheap-ass, like, plastic bottle of vodka that he brought back with him. He claims he, like, forgot about it, but, back in the days of, like, group text, they're flying back and forth because we're all getting summoned to, like, a meeting.
Oh, God.
Because they found alcohol in a plastic bag. So, like when we went grocery shopping, you have all those plastic bags and you just throw them all underneath the sink. Mm-hmm. And then if we needed them, we had them. They came, because they would also come to clean our apartments occasionally.
Oh, okay.
Nothing like deep cleaning. It was more of just a reason to like enter and like make sure we're like...
Sure.
It wasn't dilapidated.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so like of course, this cleaning lady like found the alcohol like just buried in these plastic bags, thinking like, like understandably like, oh, they must be hiding it. But, like, really, it was like, no, this just idiot came home so drunk and forgot about it.
Yeah.
And so, of course, like, we're all at work. Some of us are at work. And they're like,
okay.
and, we're all, like, yelling at him, like, via text, like, you need to take the fall for this. You need to say, like, none of us knew about it. Because apparently one other person did know about it. But, like, most of us had no idea.
Yeah.
My poor roommate was one of those people that wanted to, like, actually get hired full-time afterwards. And if you got kicked out, like,
you had no
good
chance
luck.
of that. Oh, God.
And so, like, luckily, they allowed us to stay. Because this was maybe about a month and a half before our program ended.
Oh, man.
So, like, to get it through, like, 8 months of this, like, completely unscathed and then get, like, sent home, like, all
Yeah.
So he ended up getting, and, like, thank God, like, he, like, pops up on my Facebook feed every once in a while, too. But, like, thank God he was true to his word and, like, took the fall for it and said, like, I'm going to tell them it's mine. Like, I'm so sorry. And, like...
Right.
And they believed him, too, right? Because, like, again, 6 dudes that are 19, 20...
Right.
18 in some cases.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it all turned out okay, but like...
Because, I mean, you ended up then going on to be a seasonal worker.
Yes.
So how does that all work then with that?
Yeah, like any like other like retail job, entry-level job, they had a point system. So if you came in late too many times, or you called out, or you didn't call it, you missed a shift, whatever, you forgot to clock out, like if you accumulated too many points, like it was grounds for termination or like formal reprimand. So back then they had a policy that as long as you didn't accumulate like an under amount of points, and like sometimes things happen, right? So like people forget to clock out, people forget to clock in.
Sure. Sometimes
if you're a good employee, you would use that to your advantage because you were running late, so you would have forgotten to clock in. But in the most of the time, like you had to stay under a certain amount of points, and you would automatically become seasonal. And so I did do that, and I was a seasonal worker for a couple of years. But a lot of people use it as a launching pad to like then become part-time, full-time, and like turn it into a career or at least a job in Central Florida. So
That's awesome. So how long then did you do the seasonal?
Yeah, I was probably seasonal at least for 5 years. I think 6. I think my last time I worked down there was like 2015, 2016. Can't really remember.
Okay.
When I became seasonal, they had a very lax policy where you should have to work one shift within like the past year, the last year of you, the last time you worked.
Yeah.
And you would requalify for all your seasonal benefits, which included like free parking, free admission for like you plus like a couple of your guests, like Christmas packets of like free popcorn and free whatever. At one point I did hit my 5-year anniversary and I was getting like 50 to 70% off of merchandise.
That's awesome.
So like, I remember very, very vividly my last summer that like I was still an employee even though I wasn't planning on working and renewing.
Okay.
My parents couldn't like swing going down there for like a vacation. So I ended up going down with my uncle, and I think, at the golf courses, for example, we had like $15 rounds. So like back in the day when these rounds were like $90 to $100 a piece, I was able to like book D times on them for like $15 for me plus 3 people. Wow. So like that last summer, like I went down and, we went to the park, sure. And we did a lot of golfing, and like, I bought a lot of merchandise at the time because
nice.
When you're looking at an $80 polo and it's 70% off, it's much more palatable than
totally,
or like a stuffed animal that's, well, now it's $15 versus like $50.
Right.
I
Right.
don't know. I like paying full price.
Yeah.
It's a full Disney experience.
Absolutely. And now, like, as more established adults, it's like, okay, fine. Like,
right.
It's not as big of a deal. But, like that, especially that year that I was working full time and I sent Christmas gifts home because I was down there working on Christmas.
Sure.
It was like everyone got something Disney related because.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, what made you decide not to renew doing?
I told my mom I was going to go back and finish my degree. So, and I did.
So, wait, but you graduated in 2012?
Yeah, I mean, I took some summer courses to make up some things.
But I'm talking about what made you decide not to renew the being seasonal.
Yeah. So I originally was going to be a teacher. That was the plan.
Right.
And actually, at the time, I was like, this is actually a great plan because my aunt and uncle lived down there about 45 minutes, half hour away. So in the summer, instead of teaching summer school, I can go down and like hang out and work at Disney.
Yeah.
And so then that was the plan. And then once I stopped teaching and I was like working a full-time like 9-to-5 corporate job.
Yeah.
I couldn't take like 5 weeks off to like get my hours in for the year.
Okay.
Because at the end of my seasonal employment, they made updates because, from a business perspective, they probably had a ton of seasonal people on their rosters that were getting all types of freebies and all types of discounts. I mean, and honestly, discounts to like Broadway shows, discounts on cruises, discounts on like everything, anything under the umbrella of Disney and like even ABC in some cases, right?
Wow. Okay.
And all you had to do was work one shift a year. So they changed the requirements to like you had to work, I think, like 160 hours or something like that in like a rolling calendar year. And anytime like every quarter rolled around, if you didn't in the previous year have that many hours, you were fired or terminated or let go or whatever.
Sure.
And once I stopped teaching and knew like, okay, I can't like take 4 to 5 weeks to like work.
Right.
I kind of like called it. I was like, okay, well, it was a good run.
Yeah. So you didn't want to ever move to Orlando to work for them full time or anything?
There were some people down there that were like at very prestigious universities that had no intentions of working down in the amusement parks.
Sure.
There were also like what they call professional internships, which like were another level above the college program where if you had a degree like in business or in financing or something, you could actually leverage that into like an internship in like finance or accounting or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Back in our days of like, we're going to be music teachers, there were no professional internships for like music teacher.
Right.
There were some things, but there was only like 5 or 6 people. I actually had Corinne Jones.
Oh, sure.
She did it wasn't, I don't know if it was a professional internship, but they had like, when you go take your band down there and you could do like the parades down Main Street. And
my dad's done that.
Totally.
Like, so she did like, there's some people that work specifically with like that program.
Oh, cool.
But like,
not music days.
Exactly. I never like pursued that.
Okay.
And then they even have like internships like after you take your MBA, you can go back for like experienced hire internships. And I actually because when I got my MBA a couple of years ago, I actually considered, I was like, I wonder, right?
Right.
But at that time I was very already established in my career and like moving and Just didn't make sense.
What's your MBA in?
Business administration.
Okay.
And then like leadership, but like those are the two like generic ones. I didn't get one like in data science or anything like that.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that you did that. That's cool.
I graduated in the middle of the pandemic, and unless you caught the photos on like Facebook, like you'd have never seen it.
Yeah. No, so, I did not see that.
The last 2 semesters were like...
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Now, are you friends still with people that work there still?
Do I have acquaintances that still work in the parks or for the corporation? Yes.
Now, did anybody get laid off? Because wasn't during COVID...
Oh, yeah. There was a
thing?
There was a whole thing of like, I remember like some people that I'm still Facebook friends that either used to work there or very recently don't work there anymore.
Sure.
There was like, they're the largest single site employer in Florida, right? There's 60,000 plus people working on that resort.
Wow.
So like you can imagine like there were groups of like, how they could like stay connected and like help each other out, right? Because a lot of people had like side gigs. Their spouses, whatever they did for work.
Yeah.
Maybe they can like pool for childcare or whatever. So I saw a bunch of those like flying around too. But I really don't know anybody down there anymore that like I would consider like a close friend or even a friend.
Sure.
Most of the people that like I'm even like, you have those people you're friends on Facebook with. That you occasionally like see pop up in your feed once in a while and you're like, oh, let me like go take a walk down Emery Lane.
Yeah.
But like I don't know anybody anymore.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, because with COVID, it's just interesting how they, it's sad even with like the airline. My mom works for the airline, like how flight attendants had to get laid off and all that, and how just it's affected everything.
Yeah.
Same with the hospitality industry. I'm in the hospitality industry.
Yeah.
Same thing. For a good while, people were just...
Yeah, they had nothing.
Chilling.
Yeah. People weren't traveling and...
Finally, things are getting better.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, I'm going to like start selling Pampered Chef and like whatever. Yeah. It's like, hey, you know what? You do you. Like,
yeah. Cool. Exactly. Well, let's see. Where are we at with time here? Well, I think we could probably wrap this on up here. So thank you so much for being a guest on our podcast here. And we really appreciate having you. You're our first guest.
Right.
So this has been really great.
Do I get a button?
Yes, first guest. Instead of first visit, it'll say first guest.
And then I could pay like $5 to the people at the Christmas shop to have it like personalized. Such a Disney hack, people. I will.
Exactly. Well, thank you again, and
thank you.
We will. I know we'll have you on again at some point. That'll be
sounds good. I can talk about this stuff for like days.
Yes. Oh, we love it. That's why we started this podcast.
Plenty of stories.
I do.
Oh yeah.
Tons of stories.
Love it. All right. Well, we will talk soon.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much for listening. We really appreciate all your support. Please leave us a review and or a rating. It would be so much appreciated.
You can find us on Instagram and Facebook under Parks and Pixie Dust Podcast for lots of updates.
You can also email us at parksandpixiedustpodcast@gmail.com.
Our episodes are released bi-weekly on Wednesdays.